Hello, my name is Michael Garrett, and this is PoppinCulture Movie Reviews. My guests today are two great comedians, Cuddy Macero and Chris Carano. If they're in your city, definitely go check them out. Very funny comedians. The movie that we'll be reviewing is Fright Night 1985, the original Fright Night. Uh, these guys chose the movie. I want to let you guys know it is a pleasure to have both of them back on. They were guests before, and I'm so happy to have them back, especially to discuss this gem of a movie. Before we go into it, this will be a 100% spoiler review. But before we spoil the movie, do you believe these guys should watch it?
Me? Oh, yes. Yes.
Oh yeah, of course.
Nice, nice. All right, guys. Everything past this point is 100% spoilers. Uh, I'll let you guys kick it off.
My dog's growling for me. What?
I guess you want me to go ahead and kick it off then, Mike?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you should.
All right. So
My dog wants to go.
so we're going with Fright Night, right?
1985. Yep.
Yeah. So Fright Night, obviously 80s movie. I was only 4 years old when it came out, yet I do remember watching it in the late 80s. I thought it was, creative horror movie about vampires. I enjoyed the characters. It's always really cool to see vampire movies. I'm just a big fan. Period. Chris Sarandon plays obviously the vampire, and some of you might remember this. The guy who went up against him was in the show Herman's Head, which was a comedy. If I had to say, early '90s. So that was pretty cool. And I believe it was Roddy McDowell was the famous vampire killer in that movie. If you ever watched Married with Children, I believe Marcy Darcy was in it, and she was the main character's girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure if you watch Friday the 13th Part 3, one of the biker dudes that survives until the end, I believe he was a bouncer in that movie. So it's always cool when you see horror, people in different movies other than, what you might commonly see them in, or just, hey, he's in another 80s horror movie. That's cool. Totally different character. So I definitely liked it. I like the idea that he was, when you're young and you're watching it and it's really cool, and you see like the vampire about to get it on with a chick and stuff, you think that's pretty cool, and he's gonna suck her blood, and I enjoyed that. And it was just a cool 80s movie. Special effects I think were really good for the time. Now, probably not so much, but you gotta think, like I said, it came out in the mid 80s, so what they were able to do back then was really cool.
Oh,
And like I said, just like the idea of it.
I used to have these, we called them bad movie nights with one of my friends, and we would just specifically look for movies that looked really cheesy. And I wound up picking this movie, but it actually turned out to be better than I thought it was going to be, because the cover of it, and I knew it was like an 80s movie, so I was like, oh, this is probably going to be really cheesy. And there are parts of it that are like that 80s campy kind of movie, almost like Lost Boys, but not really. But I was really impressed by the effects, by the costuming and the makeup, and the story is really great. I love the whole, like, you know, nobody believes the main character that all this stuff is going on, and it's always so funny when you get to that point in the movie where it's kind of revealed that he was telling the truth the whole time, and you have all these people like, oh wow, I really should listen to you because, like, I just watched somebody die. And it had all of these really great themes to it that I really liked.
Nice, nice. What after watching this, what new idea did this give that you hadn't seen before, or like in previous horror movies hadn't been done before?
I I had never really seen much like what am I trying to say? Like transformation special effects in the character. Like a lot of times it'll like cut away and then they cut back. Like so if there's a person in the movie and they are like turning into a creature or a monster, you don't often get to see that happen. But this was the first movie where they were kind of working with special effects that allowed them to do that. So it kind of for that time, which I wasn't there for, but for that time it was like one of the coolest effects that they could have. So I think that that is one of those movies where you start to see that more and then you progress to like today where we have special effects that are insane.
I would have to say the guy, I don't want to call him a caretaker, but the guy that looked out for the vampire in that movie, you know, he was something different and they never really explained what he was. Like when they killed him, he was like, he wasn't a vampire, but like he was some kind of other kind of monster, and they never explained what that was.
I remember that. I remember thinking the same thing. And then just to like put my mind at ease, I was like, I'm just assuming that he's a zombie. And for some reason, they're not going to explain why he's a zombie. Because he's like undead.
Yeah, I have no idea what he was, but yeah.
When it comes to the sound effects and the music, just tying those things in together, how well done do you think it was?
Very well done.
I I loved the music that they used. It was kind of perfect because there's this scene where they're all I think they're at a like a club. They're dancing and there's like lots of fog everywhere. And it's always like that was such a thing in the 80s where it was like really synthy dance music and like fog machines. And that's
Yes.
so perfect because it like time stamps that movie.
That's nice. And then I don't know. Well, I'm pretty sure you, Cuddy, you've worked with fog machines. I would love to learn how like they cut the audio because anyone that's been around fog machine, they actually do make a lot of noise. Not a lot, but
Mhm.
like you can hear the. It sounds like a steak. The little. So I think that's really that's a lot of work to keep that audio out of it. I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how they do that, but it is pretty impressive.
Um. Not a lot of blood. Did you guys kind of think maybe they should have added more?
Not
Yeah,
necessarily.
I could have done with more. If you're gonna
Uh,
kill somebody, kill the Jesus out of them.
yes. The pacing. Do you feel like they went too fast, or do you think this was the right amount of time this movie needed?
I like that I like the way they ended it. I don't like when I see in a movie and you can tell that they're rushing the ending because they either didn't really know how to end the story because that's a writing problem, or all of a sudden they just start trying to throw like these new themes at you and it's really confusing because they haven't been there through the whole movie. So I think the way that that movie ended, and that was something that happened a lot in the 80s and 90s, but they avoided that with this movie and I think they ended it pretty well because it kind of rounded everything out and it was so creepy. Good.
Nice. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I think it was good timing. Came out at a good time, and even though there were other vampire movies coming out, I can't say that there was anything else like it. Like it was a ripoff or anything or boring.
It's definitely not a ripoff like that. This movie's been ripped off actually a lot. The first time I saw something similar was a Disney Channel movie. Um, I think it's like My Mom's Date with a Vampire or something. And after watching it, I was just like, this is like a G-rated Fright Night. Like it pretty much copied every beat except for like the killing of it. Um, is this a
Okay,
great
so
example of the 80s?
yeah, I think so. Like like I said, it definitely has that time stamp on it.
Of course, yeah. The style, the music, yeah, totally.
Nice. Um, the acting in general, I think everybody put on the A game. I can't think of one weak link. What did you guys think about the actors?
Corrado, what was the name of the girl with the really short hair again?
She played Amanda Burse. I believe she played Marcy Darcy in Married with Children.
Okay. She sticks out in my mind as like everybody acted well. She was almost funny to me because her facial expressions were really like almost reminded me of like Jim Carrey, the way he's like overacting. So that was one thing that I thought was really like, again, that right amount of like campiness, because the rest of her lines were good. She knew when to scream her head off and all of that like stuff you need in a horror movie. But it was really almost funny to me because her facial expressions were so exaggerated. Um, so you could tell that maybe she hadn't had a lot of experience when she did that movie.
Hmm.
And I think that Chris Sarandon does a really good job of being that like suave, like sexy, but also really mysterious character.
Nice, nice. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, definitely no complaints on any of the acting from anyone in that. I can't say that there was anybody who bombed it or didn't do a good job with it. I mean, it's it's your '80s horror movie. You don't have to necessarily be going for an Academy Award or something like that. So, for what it was really good.
Nice, nice. 1 through 10, what would you guys give this movie?
I would give it a hard 7. Because when I'm thinking of like a scary movie, did it really scare me? I might have jumped like once or twice, but like when a movie scares me, I think about it like months, maybe even years later, and it's like makes me afraid to do certain things. So I don't think this movie was that scary, like it's gonna like mess with your head. But I think 7 is fair because they did put a lot of effort into it, and for that time, it was like Corrado was saying, one of a kind.
Nice.
Yeah, it definitely didn't suck. It was better than average. I'd probably have to go with a 7 too. Definitely a good nostalgic '80s movie, but I don't think I can give it better than a 7.
Totally dumb question, but I love to ask. Do you believe that this movie has become a part of pop culture?
For horror nerds, probably not mainstream.
You don't think so for mainstream?
No.
It got a remake. Okay, all right, okay.
I see what Corrado is saying. I think that there has to be some reason that they felt like it needed to be revisited to get of all the movies because they've never remade Lost Boys. So like movies like that or like Nightmare on Elm Street, when they get remade, it's because they are classics. I think a lot of the time, maybe they felt like there was just more to say with this story. I think it would be considered like a cult classic. A lot of horror fans at least know of it. And in terms of vampire movies, which vampire movies, just like alien movies, ghost movies, vampire movies have their place for sure, no matter what time they were released in. So I would say that Fright Night is a textbook cult classic, but I would agree that it's probably not very much into the mainstream yet. I don't know. But you know how things go, like everything is a cycle. So like 80s everything is like super in vogue right now. So it could have like this weird resurgence and tons of people could start buying it.
True, true. Chris, have you met any of these actors at a convention?
Not in this movie. I've seen them, but I didn't actually meet any of them. But I did see Chris Sarandon once at a convention. I didn't get his autograph though, but I did see him.
Okay.
Well, this-
Oh, you've been to conventions too, Cuddy?
No, it was one of those things that I was always, it was like, I was always like, I'll go next year. And I never did, which is crazy because I am a complete horror nerd. And I never went. I don't know if they're still going to be doing those. I did the same
They
thing with
have
Ren.
been. They
They
have
did.
been. I went to the one in February.
Oh, sweet. Well, then I will, I'm going to keep saying that I'm going to go, and then maybe eventually I'll go. I don't know.
Maybe I just need to pick you up and take you. And if Mike drives up this way, we'll take him too.
Nice,
It'll
but
be
I
nice.
hate that I missed the one in February. Like I just couldn't get off, and I was like, oh man.
Ah, yes, Michael, you'll have to come with us. But yeah, I will. One day we'll go.
Nice, nice. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on to Movie Review. Is there anything you'd like to say to your fans? And please tell them where they can follow you.
Well, you can follow me. I don't have any, I love you guys. I appreciate anybody that watches this and anybody that really is into horror and learning more about it. I love horror and I do comedy. And if you want to follow me for either one of those adventures, I am at Hot Grandma on Instagram. Don't be confused by the slew of old ladies that you might see. I am Hot Grandma _.
Yeah, thanks again, Mike, for bringing us on. Anybody wants to check me out on Facebook or Instagram, it's Corrado Show, CORRADO Show.
That's nice. And like I say, guys, I can't praise them enough. Very funny comedians. If they're in your city, please check them out. It's definitely worth the watch. They'll keep you laughing. Thank you so much and have an amazing day.